Tired of your old kitchen or bathroom? Upgrade to the home of your dreams with Manny and Courtney from CMK Construction. CMK Construction is Tampa's award-winning kitchen and bath leader for over 20 years. Right now, save $3,000 on a new kitchen and $2,000 on a new bathroom. And take advantage of our no money down and no interest financing until 2026. Imagine, design, build.
Streaming from the Tampa Bay 28 Weather Center in Studio A. This is Denis Phillips Live Plus. Brought to you by CMK Construction, crafting Tampa's most exquisite bathrooms and kitchens.
All right, well, if you are just tuning in and thinking that things look a little different here on DPL, you are absolutely right. I am Shay Ryan filling in for Denis and got the suspenders, but of course I look nothing like him. And I've got to wear glasses because I wouldn't be able to read the screens otherwise. So this is all completely new and different for me. And feel free, by the way, to communicate with me through the chat. I can use all of the help and guidance I can get. I'm happy to, chat about whatever you'd like. My understanding is you guys like to chat about weather, and of course, that is one of my specialties, so I am happy to start with the forecast. We can talk about Hurricane Erin. I know this is definitely on everybody's top of everyone's list, so let's see if I can get the graphics to work properly. I think I can. Nope, I did not. So that might happen again. Wait, I think I got it right. Okay, so we've got the tropics up here. And by the way, let me say hello. Paul, Rick, Carla, Abby, lots of nice people out there already. Okay, so this is good. Hello to everybody. I guess remind me when the commercials are supposed to hit. That's supposed to be really important. Denis mentioned that to me, that you guys are really helpful with that. Abby, hello. Carla, Gayla. All right, let's talk about tropics. So Hurricane Erin, is everyone really interested in Hurricane Erin? Is there anyone out there who is from North Carolina? I know we've got people from all over. This is not just a Tampa community, but I'd love to hear if anyone happens to be, throw something in the chat. If you are from North Carolina, I'd love to know what you are experiencing. But at least so far, what we're seeing here, this is the picture of the tropics that you would see if you were to go onto the National Hurricane Center website. And of course, as you start to look at where the watches and advisories are along the coast. So from North Carolina and even from the midway along the coast of South Carolina on north into Cape Lookout, that's where there's about 1 to 3 feet of storm surge possible. That's where you're seeing blue. And then once you get to the yellow, that's really the peak area right there where the outer banks stick out. That pretty obviously, because it's sticking out, it is more susceptible to that storm surge as the storm is getting a little bit closer. So 2 to 4 feet of storm surge there, and that's where they could see some of the coastal flooding. When it comes to a Cat 2 to a Cat 3 hurricane coming by your coast, that's really not terrible storm surge. We've certainly seen a lot worse than that along here. So they are definitely looking at some impacts for sure, but relatively speaking, it could be much worse if the storm were closer. And then once you get north of Duck, that's where we're back to about 1 to 3 feet of storm surge, but that goes all the way up the New Jersey coastline all the way to Sandy Hook. So this is definitely having an impact pretty far along the eastern seaboard. And we notice this a lot with hurricanes when they're working their way through the Atlantic, that the wave heights are going to be very disruptive because of that pressure from the storm pushing down on the water. So you'll end up with lots and lots of rip current risk along the coast. So that is why we are seeing the red that goes up and down the eastern coast of all of the U.S. So that's where we've got a high risk of rip currents. And then moving to the rainfall, all of the rainfall with Erin is all staying offshore. So this is not going to be a rain event at all. And then looking at some of the spaghetti models, The storms that are behind, so I'll go back real quick because I am seeing lots of questions. Let's see, want to know about what is happening behind. Hi, Newport Richie. And okay, let's see. Okay, so the storms that are behind it, the first one that it may approach right near the Leeward Islands, that area, it looks like it's going to take a similar track. You can almost see it, that bean shape of the orange. It's basically taking a very similar path to Erin, but a little bit farther to the east. It's not going to cause any issues at all for us. And it does look like it could have more impacts on Bermuda. It'll be interesting to see exactly what the path will be, but it does look like it's going to move along a similar path. And then the storm that is coming off the coast of Africa, what I find interesting about this storm is that the models really don't show it doing much of anything. In fact, when you look at this, there's the handy pencil. So this is where it shows maybe it'll start to develop here, and then it just fizzles out. It doesn't really do anything. So the models aren't even really picking up anything long term with that storm. So we're in great shape here for the next 5 to 7 days. There really isn't anything developing behind those two systems, and those are the more likely ones to develop in the coming days. So as we look here, you guys have probably seen this as well. Erin is very well formed. You can see that quite obviously on the map, but nothing else is forming behind it all the way out. So this is the 30th of August, and this is our GFS. So that one's looking great. We can look at one other one. This is the Euro. And again, you can see Erin rolling across there in the northern Atlantic. But everything else coming off the coast of Africa and even through the Caribbean, it never really forms anything that looks visibly like a tropical system. And then, let's see, this is our other, ooh, got the wrong tool. Let's see, all right, we can turn that off. So then, and then this one is showing that second storm that follows Erin right here, well offshore. And let's see, is that Bermuda? Where is Bermuda? Yeah, that little dot right there is Bermuda. So in this case, if it followed that model, it would end up staying even to the east of Bermuda. Not to say that it wouldn't have some impacts because it's still pretty close, but it at least would stay. It doesn't look like it would make have a direct impact. Okay, so let's see. So we've got Donna from the Florida Panhandle, and Marilyn, you said your mom is in North Carolina. Ashty Isaacs, yes, Denis is looking very different tonight. So the Jersey Shore has closed most of the beaches. I would say this is probably, that sounds very likely because Jersey Shore is not all that accustomed to having this kind of nasty weather, and with the high risk of rip currents, the last thing that you would want along any of these beaches is to have people out in the water. So certainly makes sense. And let's see. Zachary, I do not drink Dr. Pepper. It's just, I'm pretty much a coffee, wine, maybe the occasional old fashioned, or water. That's about it, but not the soda, just the coffee. Does Shay have the ban button? I do not have a ban button, but if I read something that I don't like, I'm just gonna keep scrolling. That's how I'm gonna roll. So, yeah, oh, I love how the suspenders come down. Is that the best open or what? Okay, so I think we're gonna have to go to a commercial. Oh, Gainesville checking in. By the way, I am a UF grad, so love Gainesville. And, okay, Ryan Chapman, Ocean City, New Jersey will flood. Yeah, there are places that are more susceptible for sure. 1 to 3 feet of storm surge in that area certainly can create some coastal flooding. And all right, I hear we need to go to a commercial. So what is this? It's 1 minute and 30 seconds, and then we'll be back. If you're watching on Facebook, though, of course, you'll stay with me, and we'll continue chatting. All right, so now here I am learning all of the ins and outs of this thing. So now, if you're with me on Facebook, we've got 1 minute and 16 seconds until we go back. And Jesse Catrino, yes, this is not Denis Phillips. Denis is out this evening. He'll be back for the 11 o'clock news, but he is doing something fun for the station tonight with some of our other managers, and we'll, like I said, he may even be in the tail end. He said that he might be able to finish up and get back here just at the tail end of DPL, but we'll see. Hopefully he's not rushing too quickly. And let's see, so we come back from break in just a moment. What is it, another 35 seconds? Maria, hello from St. Pete. Love St. Pete. I'm gonna scroll down here a little more. Oh, Erica Campbell. Hello, Erica Campbell. Erica Campbell is amazing at making charcuterie, by the way, and we are doing a cooking segment that you are going to see very soon. And in fact, you'll see it at the end of this week or over the weekend, depending on when you watch. You missed the 540 line. I'd have to go, yeah, I gotta go back and look. Where's the 5? Yeah. Yeah, the 540 line is way far north this time of year. Are you hoping for some snow? How confident am I in the AI models? I think just like any model, you just keep watching and keep checking for consistency, and over time you, okay, so we're back. It happens like that. So I'm scrolling through some of the questions here that are in the chat, and the question was, how much confidence do I have in the AI models? And just like any other models, I think we continue to watch, we continue to compare to what we see actually happen, and that will either, then our confidence grows in a certain model or it doesn't. But in general, I think, AI has proven its worth, and it's just getting better and better and better. But I think it's just a matter of time of watching and seeing, just like with every other model. As far as those models go, let's see. Is there anyone else? Oh, let's see. Robert, hello. Joseph, hello, from Atlanta, Georgia. I still haven't seen anyone specifically from the North Carolina area. I'm still scrolling just to see if there's somebody. I would love to know if there's someone who is there by the coast who might be noticing some impacts from the storm. So far, oh, this is interesting too. Oh, let me go back to the computer so you can see this. So this right here is Cape Hatteras, and these are the current conditions. I'm going to refresh it so you can see. Okay, so current conditions right now in Cape Hatteras, they have overcast skies, and the wind gust is at 25 miles per hour. And that is one of the most extreme eastern portions of North Carolina. I'm zooming out here on the map so you can see where it's at. It's that little tiny dot. So that's as close as the center of the storm will get, as Aaron will get, to land, and that's the influence that it's having so far. Now, granted, conditions may decline tomorrow, but as far as the storm is concerned, here, take a look. Now I'll give you the graphics. Sorry, I'm sure that Denis goes much, much faster than I do with this, but thank you for being patient with me. Okay, so here's Hurricane Aaron, and you can see now that when you look at where the Cape is in comparison to where the middle of the storm is, and it's getting 25-mile-per-hour winds, that the storm still, as it's continuing to move north, we'll get some increasing wind speeds throughout tonight and into early tomorrow. And then after that, it's going to be getting the backside of the storm and won't have quite as much influence. So I'm going to go back to these other graphics here that I had set up. Okay, here we go. So now we've got our watches, tropical storm watch all the way up the coast. And that's for the potential for those winds, for the tropical storm force winds. But really, I think the only place that we'll see the tropical storm force winds is right along the Outer Banks. You saw how the yellow just barely brushed the Outer Banks. So right now the gusts at 25 miles per hour. The sustained winds are only at, what were they? They were, now I lost it. Sustained winds were somewhere in the 13 miles per hour. So 13 mile per hour sustained winds and then 25 mile per hour gusts. And so tomorrow they may pick up some, but they're not going to pick up all that dramatically. I don't think we'd get into that 40 mile per hour sustained wind for any significant length of time if we did at all. And the same goes for near Boston. It just barely brushes the islands off the coast there. And then as it works its way farther to the north, that yellow band, which is where you would see the tropical storm force winds, that all starts to weaken and pull well away from mainland. Now, as far as the rain goes, you can see how far offshore it is. We're not going to see any of those heavy downpours that you would get from a tropical system coming through on land along our coastline. It's just the storm surge flooding that we're concerned with here. And then moving on up the coast, it will continue. And primarily after you get past Sandy Hooks, that's terrible. The northern part of the Jersey Shore, that's where you start to, why did I say that? What was it? Why am I forgetting the name of the city now? Feel free to throw it in there and help me out. Forgetting the name of the, it is Sandy Hook. Okay, I had the wrong one. Okay, so once you get up to Sandy Hook, that's where the chance for any of the storm surge ends. And we are just looking at some gusty winds going through. So what are we going through? And then all of that rain just moves on up and stays offshore the whole way. By the way, that graphic was made by Greg. He's always so good at putting together these really great visualizations of storms and how the path goes and all that fun stuff. So I have to thank him for making that one. Oh, and thanks, Anna Maria. Yes, Sandy Hook. You know how sometimes you say a word and then after you say it, it just doesn't sound right? And yeah, that was one of those times. So break 2 is coming up. What time was break 2 supposed to be? I have no idea. Okay. Well, we'll finish with this. It looks like this is updated actually. So we've gotten an update from the National Hurricane Center, and they have now turned that middle batch right in the Atlantic right behind Erin into a high likelihood of development. So it's got a 70% chance of developing into a tropical system and will otherwise continue along that same path. All right, we'll go to one more commercial break here. And so there we go. One more commercial break. So I'm supposed to get 3 in here, huh? Okay, so 7:47. You guys are really good. Kit Kat break time? Do you guys have Kit Kats? Kaylee, you lived in New York and you live on a hill, so you may be safe. Yes, you might be safe. That is excellent. Travis used to visit Cape Hatteras every summer. So how severe the beach erosion is so hard to tell. You know, every storm is different. With 2 to 4 feet of storm surge, and the coastal flooding that they were looking at did not sound like it was going to be too significant. It looked like it was going to be for a brief period of time. But again, we can be surprised by these storms so easily. I hate to mislead you. Given the scenario, this is a lesser storm, a less severe storm than what what we've seen. But significant things can still happen even when you have a weaker or when you have a storm that's this far offshore. We've certainly seen that in our Tampa Bay area. Let's see. What else have we got around here? Why is Big Bird yellow? Okay, so Patty, yes, the big red blob, that's what we were just talking about. So the big red blob now, this is an update from 8 o'clock. The National Hurricane Center just updated this. So that area has now a high chance of developing into a tropical system. The great news is it's still not gonna impact us. Charlotte just said that Nicole said she's in North Carolina. So I'm going to scroll up. Nicole, if you want to tell me, Nicole, where are you? I'm looking for Nicole. If Nicole is in North Carolina and she wants to tell us how things are going there, let us know. And right. So at this point, I mean, the tropical season has been really fantastic. We've gotten quite lucky so far. Things couldn't really be better for us. And as we look at this other storm that's off the coast of Africa with a moderate chance of development, you can see how this just falls apart. This is the kind of tropical season we want to see, where we're not getting storms that are impacting land. Anything that just stays over the ocean and transfers some of that energy from one place to the next, but doesn't make landfall, that's exactly what we want the hurricanes to do. This picture right now, this is from Duval County, northeast Florida, there by Jacksonville, and you can see the wave heights are quite significant. So even this far away from the center of Erin, the waters are quite rough, and that's why that rip current risk is all the way from the southern coast of Florida up the northeast. And again, a storm like what we're seeing with Erin certainly has the potential to impact the wave heights across a very large span. So this is the wave heights. So we'll go back to this. Oh, someone asked what my favorite coffee is. I drink Nespresso, and I typically just drink a very dark blend. Lately, I've been drinking a little milk in my coffee, but oh yeah, and I think we are back on air. Yeah, I keep forgetting to look at the clock. I'm new at this. I'm clearly not Denis. All right, so Donna, you're asking about Cape Canaveral. Cape Canaveral, about, all along the coast of Florida, we're going to see similar impacts on the east side where the wave heights are increased. You're also going to have plenty of high risk of rip currents right up the east coast. That's not going to be any different from one place to the next, or at least not dramatically different. When you look here at the wave heights from this system all along the east coast, this is right now. And if you look at the colors there, we've got those, anything above 6 feet is really what we're looking at. And then that goes all the way up the coast over the next couple of days and doesn't start to really improve until Saturday night or so. Saturday night or Sunday morning, that's where we start to see improvement when that storm is going away. So we're going to have that high risk of rip currents for quite some time, even after the storm is well away from our area. And the winds, again, we're looking at that yellow area and it barely brushes our coastline. So not that significant of wind. It's all about the pressure of the storm pushing on the water as it continues to move up the east coast. And that's how it really causes it's the impacts that the U.S. is feeling. And of course, Bermuda and some of the islands of the Bahamas and the Leeward Islands as it was moving through before. So again, just to update you on what we're seeing here for the tropics. This is the updated National Hurricane Center front page. And as of 8 o'clock, we are looking at the update, and the only change that we're seeing here is that that orange blob turned to a red blob, which means it has a greater time or a greater chance of developing as far as the National Hurricane Center. And I'm seeing that I need another break. So, all right, here we go. Break time. And whoever just said that they thought, okay, let's see, Anna Maria, you thought that Bermuda was a flake on your screen and you tried to blow it off. I did exactly the same thing. So when I was checking, I was zooming in and I wanted to make sure that I was seeing the right spot as Bermuda. And so I had to scratch my screen every once in a while. It throws me off. Oh, current and future forecast, local. You want the forecast for local. Ellen, you are more than welcome to have the local forecast. Let me get it here. So I don't know if you happen to be out at all today, but definitely hot. Take a look at what we are seeing. Is that beautiful or what? This is our Rivergate Tower. Do you see how clear and smooth that water is on the Hillsborough River? Just absolutely gorgeous. Just beautiful out there. So that is what we're seeing now. And then right now, let's see what the temp is, 90 degrees. And Mark, shout out to Indian Rocks Beach. The anchors do use a pedal sometimes. Oh shoot, I can't bring it over here. And they also have a little hand crank that it's like a little knob in order to get their scripts. 88 degrees. I'm trying to answer like 5 questions at once. Okay, we don't have any rain, by the way. Taking a look here, you can see a little rain down by Lake Okeechobee, but other than that, we are dry. By the way, anyone who's been wanting rain, we are going to be seeing some. So we're back on air. If you've been wondering what's going on here across Tampa Bay, clearly, if you're just joining us, I'm not Dennis. Dennis is out tonight, but he could be back any moment now. And we'll be here for the 11 o'clock news tonight. I'm filling in for him. First time. Lots of fun. You guys are super nice. I can't thank you enough for being as kind as you are and really helping me out with all of these break times. I don't know how you do this, but I guess at some point we finish. What is it, 7:20? No, I don't. Does anyone remember what time we finished? Okay, that would be good. Let me know. So I keep saying a lot. The 12-hour planner here, temps are going to be dropping down to about 80 when we wake up tomorrow morning. High from Lakeland. And here's another view. This is from our rooftop. What a gorgeous sunset. That is just absolutely beautiful. That is stunning. Lots of pink on the horizon. And I hear it's 7:58 is when we are done. So temps right now are in the 80s. And let me just let you know, the next couple of days, we are going to be, temps are going to be coming down. And we are going to start noticing a little more rain, a bit more cloud cover. And so we've got a little bit of a changing pattern. It's not going to be a washout, but it is definitely going to be wetter than what we have had lately. So hopefully it'll get a little more comfortable, because today's high, 94 degrees, just 2 degrees off of that high of 94. But no rainfall out there at the moment. The west to east flow, as you're probably familiar with if you've lived here in Tampa for any length of time and you know the west to east flow, this is where you get the rainfall coming across early in the day, and then that extra cloud cover just blankets you for a couple of hours, and you get a little bit of sunshine coming through later in the afternoon. And this gives you really nice sunsets along the coast. So this is great for that, but it does kind of ruin your beach day early in the day because of that. But you know, we need the rainfall right now. So we've got that going for us. I guess we have 15 seconds left, And I just wanted to say thank you again for all of you guys being so kind. And I don't know if I'll see you again, but thanks. All right, guys. So we saw the streamers. I think we're done. And I think, so let me say goodbye to you on Facebook as well. Have a great night. Thank you again. I have no idea how to really end this other than to press this button. So I guess that's it.